What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got some major stuff for you guys here today. Take a look at this. Dolly Parton was awarded $100 million from Amazon founder and owner Jeff Bezos. $100 million. But here's the reason why. Yeah, country music star and philanthropist Dolly Parton received a $100 million prize from the Bezos Courage and Civility Award given by Amazon.com founder and billionaire Jeff Bezos, an honor that recognizes leaders who pursue solutions with courage and civility. Bezos, who's also the owner of the space rocket company Blue Origin, announced the award here a few days ago. They said that Dolly Parton is a woman who gives her heart and leads with love and compassion in every aspect of her work, saying, quote, "We can't wait to see all the good that you're going to do with this $100 million award." Yeah, so Dolly Parton is being put in charge of this $100 million to basically give away to charities of her choice and being put in charge of philanthropic duties. Dolly Parton said in a video clip of the ceremony posted online, "Wow, did you say $100 million?" She said, "I think people who are in a position to help should put their money where their heart is. I will do my best to do good things with this money." She recently donated $1 million to Vanderbilt University's medical center to help develop a vaccine during the pandemic. She was also recently inducted this month to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland and has founded a number of charities, including the Dollywood Foundation, which focuses on education as well as poverty relief. Very cool. Speaking of vaccines and viruses, you can see here the new Omicron subvariants are now dominant in the US, raising fears of a winter surge. Yeah, new Omicron BQ variants that are resistant to antibody treatments are quickly becoming dominant in the US. Yeah, Omicron variants BQ1 and BQ1.1 now make up 44% of new cases, compared with 32% last week, according to CDC data. These subvariants will likely become dominant in the next week, but BQ1 and BQ1.1 are likely resistant to Evusheld, leaving people with compromised immune systems increasingly vulnerable as these subvariants become dominant. And these subvariants appear to be among the most adept yet at evading immunity from vaccination and previous infection, and have now overtaken the BA.5 Omicron subvariant that has dominated in the US since the summer. Dr. Jeremy Lubin of the University of Massachusetts, who's been tracking variants since the beginning of the pandemic, says it's a little bit eerily familiar, saying, quote, "This time of year last year, we were optimistic. We were coming out of the Delta wave, and it was steadily decreasing. And we went into Thanksgiving to wake up to Omicron. So there is this sort of deja vu feeling from last year." And well, if you remember last year, what happened right after Thanksgiving, we went into the yeah, that, and we spiked into over 1 million cases per day in some days. Yeah, and yeah, it took a little while, but January 1.1 million cases a day. I think we had a day where, yeah, right here, where was that? 1.4 million cases in a single day. In a single day. And remember that we also had a lot of people using at home tests So who knows how many cases we actually had? All we know is that we had a lot of cases. And then remember, those were new cases in just one day. So we had millions and millions and millions of cases and a lot of people missing work and a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. And remember that a lot of deaths too. I mean, we had 3,000, I mean, just this one day right here, 3,895 people died in one day. The next day, 2,500 people. I mean, it's just like every single day was like 3,000 people dying every day. Um, just, yeah, I mean, yeah, and that was January of this year, January 18th, 2022. I mean, 3,000 people dying a day. So, yeah, uh, yeah. I mean, February 4th, 3,976 people dying every single. I mean, every day. It was bad. It was bad. So, and I mean, when you compare that, that's like more than Pearl Harbor or 9/11. Every day, every day. So, I mean, this was serious stuff. I mean, you can let me know your thoughts if you think this is going to happen again. I mean, when you look at this here in the U.S., this is about 100, almost 100 million people that have tested positive just in the U.S. And these are only people that have gone to official testing facilities that not even use the at-home tests, and over 1 million people that have died um, from the virus and or complications from the virus. So yeah, I mean this virus has been pretty serious, pretty serious. So let me know your thoughts here. Do you think we'll have another massively serious wave? Next up, Republicans eye Senator Joe Manchin as the top target in 2024. Joe Manchin, always right there in the center. I think he likes it there. I think he likes being in the middle of attention there. Yeah, Senate Republicans say that Joe Manchin will be a top electoral target in 2024, even though he has voted with them more often than any other Senate Democrat and helped Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell block an effort to reform the chamber's filibuster rule. Yeah, so maybe he's not as much of a Republican friend as they might think. Smarting from the disappointing failure to retake the Senate majority in this year's midterm, Republican strategists predict that McConnell will pour millions of dollars into West Virginia next cycle to flip Joe Manchin's seat. The top targets would be to uh, compete against him would be West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey, one of several Republicans who could challenge Senator Joe Manchin in 2024. Said the centrist Democrat will pay a political price for supporting the Inflation Reduction Act, which included major components of President Biden's agenda, such as tax reform, prescription drug reform, and hundreds of billions of dollars to fight climate change. Yeah, prescription drug reform, which is going to lower the price of Medicare and prescriptions. I guess that's a bad thing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could say the climate change in West Virginia because I don't know. It's going to put coal mines out of business. I don't know. They're saying Senator Manchin deeply disappointed West Virginians and let them down tremendously when he supported the Build Back Broke bill last summer. That legislation really hit our state very hard. You can dress up the pig any way you want, but most people in West Virginia understand that that bill is going to hurt us. I really wonder how do they say it's going to hurt us? Like I wonder like what the real world things that they say are. He let the air out of this balloon and it's not going to be so easy to pump it back up. Morrissey nearly lost his bid to unseat Manchin in 2018 by 3 percentage points, or about 19,000 votes. which turned out to be closer than what the polls indicated before Election Day. I learned a lot from the past experience I had in a terrible political environment. The environment in 2024 is going to be much, much stronger for Republicans, he predicted. Other Republicans who could challenge Manchin could be Governor Jim Justice, a Republican, or Representative Alex Mooney. Manchin, who is 75 years old, hasn't said whether he would run for a fourth Senate term, but West Virginia political experts say he is showing every sign of gearing up for another run. Manchin defended his vote for the Inflation Reduction Act by saying it would give energy companies the certainty they need to increase domestic energy production and would lower healthcare costs and reduce the deficit. Also, Senate Majority Leader now, Chuck Schumer, who is probably going to be the next Senate Majority Leader. They've been declared as the Democrats are going to be the next Senate Majority Leader as long as all the votes hold and the recounts hold and everything like that, because there can be some recounts. So as long as everything holds, the Democrats will be the next Majority Leader as well. Here's what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has to say.
Well, in the last Senate, where we got so much credit in June, July, and August for getting so much done, and it helped change the election around, 5 of those 6 bills were bipartisan. The guns bill was bipartisan. The bill to help our veterans who were exposed to the toxic toxins that came out of the burn pits was bipartisan. The most major industrial policy bill ever, or in a very long time, the CHIPS and Science bill, was bipartisan. We did most of I tried to do things in a bipartisan way, and we've had some success.
I understand what you're saying.
We have to do more.
You have had lots of success, but I'm wondering what is different. Do you think there's going to be what is going to be different this time with the MAGA Republicans? Because you've said that before. Please work with us. Why is it different this time? Why do you think they'll be more open?
It's different this time because they lost. They all expected to win. The red wave proved to be a red mirage. And one, if not the main reason, but one of the main reasons for sure, was that average American folks, even those in the middle, even those who tended to be Republican, said, I'm afraid of this MAGA. They're trying to ruin our democracy. It's not, if you look at the numbers, if you look at the results, House and Senate, the MAGA Republican way didn't work. The MAGA Republican candidates across the board, you just showed some of them, lost. Yeah. So if you're a good leader of a Republican Party, you say continuing to follow them is a path to disaster.
Now, of course, that's Chuck Schumer's opinion. What do you think? What do you think? The Republicans are poised to take over the House, at least the way it's looking. They have the check mark here by the Senate, as long as recounts and stuff don't go here. When we look at the House here, it's currently 211 to 205. So, the Republicans have the lead here. They got to get to 218 for the majority here. So, the Republicans need 7 seats. And you can see here that the Republicans flipped 16 seats. The Democrats only flipped 6. So it does look like the Republicans, they are in the lead, and it does look like the Republicans should have it. Remember that each state counts their own votes. Each state counts their own votes. So that's a very important point there. When you look at the House, this is kind of the House results for each state when you kind of look at that. So this is kind of the state-by-state maps of each, House of Representatives here. So you guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments section. But as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said, the vast majority of bills are already bipartisan. So the only few bills that weren't bipartisan were the Inflation Reduction Act and the third stimulus check package, which were passed through reconciliation. So only those two bills were passed through reconciliation. Every other bill was passed through bipartisan because Republicans and Democrats, because every single other bill, 99.9% of bills, or 99.5%, I don't know, you'd have to do the math and figure out how many bills they passed, needed 60 votes to pass in the Senate. So, not really a whole lot changes with the House being, Republican and the Senate being Democrats. Not really a lot changes, to be honest. So, I mean, you can let me know your thoughts here, but honestly, there is still a chance that the House could become Democrat. I mean, when you look at that, the results are still pretty close, to be honest. I mean, there's only a matter of 6 seats here. 6 seats here. So honestly, the Democrats could still take over the House. It's very, very close. And honestly, this is how almost every election goes. I mean, remember that we had a 50-50 Senate last year, and the House was only determined by a few votes last year as well. So if you just look at the history of our elections for several cycles, we've had very, very, very close elections. It's almost 50-50 for a long time here, for a long time. This is just kind of how it's been. Even the governors. I mean, look at the governors: 25 Republican governors and 23 Democrat governors. And I think we're still waiting on a few because it's just based on the gray bar here. So, yeah, I mean, even the governors are almost down the middle too. So, and it's not like we have a governor like, majority where, like, if it's 50-50, but even the governors are almost down the middle. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy how it kind of happens that way. You guys can let me know your thoughts here. So I'll keep you up to date here on everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel if you haven't yet. It's completely free to do so. We have new trivia questions coming out here every day where we're giving money away from to some of our viewers. So don't miss out on that. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, thanks so much for liking these videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And here's my newest video on Social Security raises and new details. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.